Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today it's going to be a trying to fix video, but this one's going to be slightly different because I'm going to be trying to fix a Joblot all in the one video. So if you have a look in here, I have 15 watches, and they are all the same type. They are all Casio AQ-230, apart from the differences, some are gold and some are silver. So what I'm thinking is I might be able to swap different parts around to end up with so many working watches, depending on what the problem is with them. So for example, if one had if one was smashed, I might be able to swap it for, if the inside works, I might be able to put that in another one where the inside doesn't work. Now obviously I will be trying to repair them if I can, but to begin with I'm just going to kind of move things around the place and see how many we can get working, and then I can hopefully get a little bit deeper into the repairs. Now I paid very little for these, I'll show you that in a minute, but what I like about them is I would actually choose to wear something like that. I do actually have a Seiko one, which is more expensive, but yeah, it's like analog and digital in the same watch. So I think they look kind of quite retro. You can see that that digital one there is actually working, and they should have features like alarm and stopwatch and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to going through each one to see. Personally, gold is not really my thing, but at the same time, if I get some of these working, I probably would like to keep one silver one, and I think I'd like to keep one gold one. Let's see how many gold ones we've got. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gold ones. So that means we'll have 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And something like that, you can see that the hour hands and also the minute hands have fallen off. That might actually be an easy fix if I can get those back on. You never know. Now these really vary in price. I've had a look. So let me show you what I paid for them. I got all 15 of them for £30, so I've only paid £2 each, and that was including delivery. I think they were up for £40 on eBay, but I put a best offer in at 30, thinking it wouldn't be accepted, but it was, so I was well happy with that. And if you have a look at H. Samuel, they're actually charging £55 for this watch at the moment. But then if you have a look at Argos, you can get them for £25. But either way, you know, £25 from Argos. If I can get some of them working for £2 each, you can see that I'd only need to get 2 or 3 of them really working in order to sort of be happy with my return for the £30. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to have a closer look at them and see what's wrong with them, see why these are taped up. I'm thinking that that's got a smashed... Yeah, that's smashed glass there, isn't it? Now with these, they are... Right, I'm pretty sure that's acrylic, that's plastic, because I can feel friction there. So hopefully the ones that are just slightly scratched, not cracked, but the ones that are scratched, I'll be able to buff it out using some poly watch, and I should be able to get them looking like new again. So yeah, I'm just going to have a look now, see what the problem is, and then bit by bit we'll go through them and see how many we can repair. So it's the next day now, and I've gone through them all. These two appear to be working just fine. There is scratches on the glass, maybe that could be the problem, but all the features are working: stopwatch, alarm, etc, etc. So a quick easy way to test the alarm is just to hold down this button here. There you go. Yeah, let's do this one. Yeah, so at least I know how to test them now. I looked up online. So those two are keeping good time. I set them yesterday and they're still keeping perfect time now. Everything is completely dead apart from these two and this one here. Now with this one, the analog hands are not going round, but yet the digital display is working down below. But look, the bit of glass here has gone up, worked its way up to here on the inside, and it's stopping the minute hand from going round. So I think that's the reason why the analog display is not working. So first of all, let's take this one out. I'm just going to leave it to the side and see if that starts moving, or I can just hold this button in here and it will advance the minute hand rounds anyway. Let's pop that out. Right, this will also give me a chance to have a look at what battery it takes. So zoom right in. Right, so it says up, negative, so we're putting the negative up. After battery replacement, contact AC with negative. Now, this confused me before I had my other watch, but basically when you change the battery, because I did this on my Seiko, you have to short between the battery and, for example, it says AC here, this one here. But the battery in this case, can you see, is negative. This whole case is negative. So all you would have to do is go between here and here once I swap out the batteries. But to begin with, let's actually get the case out, and then we can see what battery it takes. Not sure if it's just going to come out or not. Yes, it is. Excellent. Okay, so you can see it nice and clearly now, and that is the broken glass here. I haven't looked to see if I can get replacement glass. Let's just see if it's going to push out. I don't want to cut myself. Let me use some sort of cloth or something. Right, if I can get this out without breaking it more, well, saying that, it's cracked across there anyway. I was going to say it'd be easier for me to measure, but you know what? The cost of the replacement crystals, especially because they're a slightly weird shape, might end up being more than really what the, it might not warrant it, you know. There we go. Excellent. Well, I can actually get the measurements off that now. I've got most of the bits there to get the correct measurements from, so that's quite good. And you can see that if I could get a replacement glass, it would be easy enough to put in here. Now, the straps themselves are metal, but apparently the actual case here is like a metal covered resin. So I was going to just drop them all into the ultrasonic cleaner, but I wonder now, would it cause damage to the plastic or not? I wouldn't want the coating to lift, you see. So I think what I'm going to do on each of them, I think I'm going to take the straps off and pop it in the ultrasonic cleaner just to get rid of all the dead skin and clean everything up. You can see even this one here, you can just see it's because it has sticky tape on it, it's all sticky there, but as well there's paint and stuff on this little bit here, so the straps are going to need a little bit of work. Right, so now let's hold this button in and let's see if it starts moving round. Yes, it does. Excellent. Okay, well, I'm not going to set the correct time, I'm just going to set it to the time of the digital one down the bottom. So 9:26, and I'll wait until that gets up to 9:27. Okay, so that's 9:27 there, so I'm going to leave that and see what it does. Come back to that later. Right, let's start taking apart some of these others and have a look to see what batteries they take. Because some of them might just need replacement batteries. Maybe these, if the watches are guaranteed for a year or possibly 2 years and the battery fails, maybe some people, I mean, I would just get a replacement battery, but maybe some people do send it back to the shop they got it from. Right, that's interesting. These batteries go in kind of the wrong way round. Normally I would put it in the other way, but it does say negative up top. So it is in the correct way. But yeah, that's unusual. On the watches I normally do, it would be negative down. Let's face it that way so I don't damage it more than just dropping it. Let's measure this battery. So it should be 1.5 volts. I presume they're normally 1.5. So I'm on DC volts here, and negative is this side here, isn't it? Right, so that's 0.3 volts, so that battery is definitely not working. So this one might just need a replacement battery. Now let's have a look, see what battery it is. Right, so it's Sony SR920W. I like the fact that it's Sony. I mean, these Casio watches have... As far as I know, Casio is Japanese, and it says Japanese here. So although they are a cheap watch, I think they are pretty, you know, I think they're okay quality as far as the cheaper watches go. I know they're not going to be as desirable as Swiss watches, but you know, Casio and Seiko well, Seiko is a very good brand, I think, and I think Casio is quite a good brand as well. Obviously, it's all money relative, isn't it? Let's type that number into Google, because I've got a load of Renata batteries, and let's see if we've got a matching one. Right, okay, I've typed it into Google, and yes, they're coming up as 370 and also 371. Now this is an SR, sorry, this is Renata. This is a SR920SW, while this one here is a W. I believe, looking at Google, SWs are supposed to last longer. They're completely interchangeable, they're supposed to last longer, but some people did say the W without the S has a higher drain. So on some watches, if you replaced it with this, maybe certain features like what might not work. So for example, if I put one of these in, and if the alarm doesn't work at the same time as the analog hands spinning round, then I know I will definitely have to get W ones rather than SW. But most people did say they're interchangeable. I think the W ones might be called 370. I'm not too sure, I didn't put a huge amount of research into it. But anyway, look, I have got spare batteries of these anyway. So let's pop one in and see if it starts working or not. So I need to just take off the shield here. I think this is to stop it shorting out. And I'm just going to measure with my meter just to make sure that it is reading 1.5 volts. Yeah, 1.58 volts. So remember to put it in the correct way, the same way that it came out. Yeah, there we go. Now, let's see what happens when we short this. Let's see if that resets itself. On my Seiko, this one works, but we have to do the AC thing to get the hands to work. I'm not sure if it's the same on this one. So let's go between, it says AC over here. I presume it's any one of these contacts down here. Let's just go there and there. Okay, there you go. See, it resets itself. Right, let's see now if the analog hands are going to spin. They are. I'm just going to put it to 12 o'clock just to match the digital, and we'll just see again if this is keeping time. Now, you've seen how to change the battery, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that on each of them. I don't have to film that because it's pointless. You've just seen how to change the battery, and then we'll see. Maybe they just all need a battery change. I don't know. So what I'm going to do now is, on camera, I'm going to take off the bracelets off the actual case because I'm not sure about putting plastic into the ultrasonic cleaner. If you know the answer to that, pop it down to the comments because it would help me for future things. But right now, I don't want to risk it because I don't want this to go to some kind of like plasticky looking thing, because at the moment it is nice and shiny. So I'm just using one of these tools here to push in, and that should take off those bits, which it does. These are just on a spring, like that. So I'm going to take them off each of them. There we go. Now these should be the same on all the watches, so I don't care about mixing them up, and both sides should be the same as well. So thread caught to this one. Right, so that's what I'm going to be doing on each of them now, and popping these in the ultrasonic cleaner, and let's see how many of them just need a battery to be changed. Right, you can see how disgusting this one is here. Look at that. I don't think that's ever been cleaned. And if you look at the case of this one, it's really bad as well. And you can see there, that's why it's not good to have a resin case, because look how much wear there is. If that was metal now, you wouldn't notice that. But look, it's gone right down to the plastic underneath. So you can see now that's going to always look a very worn watch. And I don't know if there'd be any way of fixing that rather than sort of replacing it or something, but that's not going to happen. So if that was metal now, you see with a bit of polish, you could get a good finish, but not with this. Now, although these are metal, I'm not going to put these into the ultrasonic cleaner either, even though they are covered in dead skin, so they're going to need one hell of a clean, because they have the little buzzers on. This is what does the alarms, these things here. And if you look closely at the back, can you see there's a little spring? So I presume the spring makes contact with this, which then causes them to buzz. And maybe this outer bit here is the ground, is the negative? Possibly. So yeah, again, they could be fine, but I don't want to risk it because hopefully the buzzers will work and I don't want them to fail. So I'm just going to clean them by hand. Right, so I've got them all off the watches themselves. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off each of these. In fact, that one looks like it was sellotaped on, so maybe that will need a bit of work. But that might be the fault with that one. I'm going to take them each off, and then that will allow the ultrasonic cleaner to get right in there and give everything a clean, especially on some of the dirtier ones. So with these, you just lift them up here, and you see this is how you can adjust it for the different size wrists. So I'm going to do each of them, and then pop them in the ultrasonic cleaner. So let me get that heated up, and then I can show you that. Got all the dirt that's coming off. This one, in fact, is so hard. There's so much dirt on it that it's actually sticking. Oh no, look, it's damaged. It's damaged here. It's had a whack. Can you see there? It's not. I'm going to have to just try to flatten that out a bit. Just wrapping the bag around it just to give it some protection. Oh, there you go. Excellent. It actually worked. So while I'm waiting for the ultrasonic cleaner to heat up, I'm just going to start cleaning up the cases and stuff. I'm going to take each watch out, clean up the cases, and also clean up the back of the cases as well, just using some wet wipes and paper towel. Right, okay, so this one has been taken apart before. You can see it's got a cog there, and this is the one with the missing hands as well. Well, they're not missing, but they're in there. But this cog just flew out of it, which is now... Where's it gone? It's gone missing already. It just fell in between these two. Found it. Amazingly, it bounced quite far. So yeah, this has got the missing cog. I don't know whether it is missing from the inside or whether, I mean, it must be in there for a reason. But all the screws are done up here. So yeah, we're gonna have to take that one apart further and see what's happening. So I don't think this is just going to be a battery replacement and putting the hands on this one. And the dials come off this one as well. Well, it's interesting to see the side of it. That's just going to go there, isn't it? So that's what's going to do the hour. Is that right? Yeah, that would be the hour one. Alright, well, this might be repairable, I don't know. We'll have to see. I've definitely got both hands. The dial itself looks okay. So I'm going to just put them safely out of the way here for the time being. Oh, actually, they're all very bent up, but I might be able to straighten them. Unless they're supposed to be kicked out like that. I'm not sure. It's got a kick on it. But it does look quite an angled kick, like it's meant to be like that. Time will tell. We won't worry about that just yet. Good news is these are keeping time anyway. You can see they're 12:18 and 9:49. So they're definitely working. You can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to keep doing this to each of them now and get back to it when I've got them all apart. Right, I just took the back of this one, and this looks different than all the others, and also it's absolutely filthy. So if you have a look, and you see the design looks ever so slightly different. And there's no battery in this one either. So I'm not sure now. This kind of looks really bad. I don't know whether it's been water damaged in the past or not, or whether just dirt's gone all the way into it. See, there's no seal on it either. There's no rubber seal. That might be just dirt from rubber seal. It might not necessarily be water. But I don't know whether this one itself is going to be repairable. But at least hopefully we might be able to use the glass or something. Yeah, so some of them definitely have different movements in them, because look at this one. This one has a battery the other way round, what I would call the normal way round, you see, with the positive up top. So although they look exactly the same, I'm wondering if these are an older one. So what I'm doing is I'm removing all these and I'm just putting them off to one side for the moment. And now I'm still waiting for the ultrasonic cleaner to heat up. So I'm just going to start cleaning all the little rubber gaskets and all these back cases and the little buzzers. Then after that I'm going to clean each of these up. And then I'm going to pop these in the ultrasonic cleaner, and then I'm going to go through these one by one, putting batteries in them and see which ones work, don't work, and then I can start fault finding the ones that don't work. Now you might wonder, why am I cleaning it all first before seeing which ones work and don't work? I just want to work on clean stuff. So at least then I know, for example, which glasses have cracks in, which ones are missing gaskets and stuff like that. Because then I'm hoping to get complete watches by the end of it. And then if one's got a cracked screen, then I can put that one without the gasket. You know, if a movement doesn't work, I'm hoping to put all the bad bits together. all come up lovely and clean now. So I'm going to start working on these horrible cases. Right, well, that's going to keep me busy for the next 30 minutes or so. Right, so we're up to 50 degrees at long last, that's Celsius. I'm going to put it on for 30 minutes, and if you have a look, you can see that they're all in here. Can't really see. There you go. Right, let's turn it on. I'm going to let it do its thing, and hopefully they'll come out a bit cleaner. Right, I've cleaned all the cases now, so now I'm going to move on to the gaskets, because as you can see, they're covered in rubbish as well, and also these pins here. And with the gaskets, I'm going to be careful because I don't want to stretch them. The gaskets, some of them are very thin plastic, like this one here. You can see it's hard, and this one here is just very soft rubber. But most of them are the rubber type. I'm wondering if the plastic ones were to do with the older ones. Okay, at long last, that is the cleaning done of the gaskets, the pins, the cases, the back cases, and I've got about another 5 minutes to go until the actual straps are done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to clean up this mat here, because when we're putting it all back together, I want it to be nice and clean. I don't want any dust or dirt going onto the dials, and I'm going to also wear some gloves now when I put it back together. I'm going to go through them now one by one, and I'm going to take the batteries out, measure them, and if they're measuring less than 1.5 volts, then I'll put a new battery in, and then if it works, I'll put them over here. If it doesn't work, I'll put them over here, and then we can start to see exactly what we're left with. Right, the ultrasonic cleaner is now done. Let's see if they look clean. The water certainly looks dirty. Oh, lovely, look at that, all shining. So I'm just going to let that drain, and now I'm just going to rinse them in the sink with clean water, and then after that, give them a good dry. It looks like the gold hasn't come off anyway, which is a good thing. The strap's all done now, and initially they look pretty good, so I'm going to carry on with the movements now. So out of all of these, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 working, and 1, 2, 3, 4 that are not working. But some of these are partially working. So if you have a look here, if you look at this one, you can see that basically the analog side's working. But if you look at the digital side, have a look at the first digit of the seconds. So the main things are right, 203. But then look at this one here. Can you see that that one there is not working properly? That digit there is missing most of them. Don't know whether I'm going to be able to do anything about that, if it's a problem with the display, but we'll take it apart and find out. I've got the same problem on this one here, apart from this is far worse. If you look, there's only like 1 digit displaying at the end there. So most of that one's missing. So I don't know whether that is repairable, probably not. This one is completely dead, so this might be an interesting one. Definitely got a good battery in it, and yet there's nothing happening here at all. And with this one, this was the one that was in bits, you know, with the second hand off and the wheel missing. Again, the battery in here was already measuring 1.5 volts, so I didn't need to change the battery here. And that is completely dead as well. There's nothing happening there whatsoever. Interestingly enough, I came across 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 batteries that were completely dead. Remember as well, I already had 2 working from the beginning as well. So no matter what, we're going to get a good amount of these working, but let's do a little bit of work on these and see what we can find. So I'm going to take them apart, and if I find anything, I'm going to let you guys know. Right, so I thought I'd start on the one that was already broken. And if you have a look here, can you see there's one of these kind of zebra connectors, you know, these tiny little rubber connectors, and that is the little LCD display there. That's interesting how it's kind of flashing up with numbers. And if you have a look on this side, this is the actual board here, and can you see here there's one of these sort of blob chips with the stuff on it, so you can't do anything with that. But look at all these contacts here. So what I could do is I could get some IPA and just rub it across here, and also just across here, just to make sure that that's clean, because remember on this one there was nothing on the display. Now when I was messing around with it, I'm not sure if this battery was put in wrong, but when I put the battery in the correct way, then I did get some digits on the display, but they're all missing, and you know, they're not making any sense, but there is definitely some life there. I'm going to get some IPA. So this is what I'm using here, some IPA, 99.9% alcohol. Well, it seems to have some sort of pink ink on it. It's very clean though. I'm going to measure this little coil here. So if I put it to ohms and go between these 2 contacts here, yeah, it's giving me a reading 1.9 kilo ohms. Nearly 2. So it looks like the coil's okay, because sometimes if you're messing around it's easy for the screwdriver to slip and damage the coil. I'm wondering if it's not working, could it be something to do with this little crystal here? So this is the thing that actually keeps the time on the watch. Let's pop it back together and see what's happening. Unfortunately, that hasn't made any difference whatsoever, so I'm just going to take it apart again, because I definitely had something on the display first time round. Right, I'm not having any luck with this now, so nothing's coming up on the display at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to another one, and I might be able to use this one as spares, or I can always come back to it later if I learn more as I go through the others. So I'm going to have a look at this one here now, because you can see this is nearly working. The display here is just slightly out on that digit. Actually, looking at this one, it's not right, because the analog bit has not kept time with the digital, and also when I hold this in now, it just started to vibrate but not actually move. So there is an issue, but this one is very dirty on the inside, so it could just be a build-up of dirt. So I'm going to strip it down, clean it, and then see what happens. You can see that this one's absolutely filthy, so I'm just going to clean it all with IPA and see what happens. And in here I did find this big lump of metal. I'm not really sure what it's from, but I'm sure it shouldn't be there. Amazingly, that has actually fixed it. Not quite sure if it's as bright as the others. Don't think it is. No, it's definitely not as bright as the other ones. Let me change the battery in it and see if that helps it. Wow, that has sorted it out. Look, you can see now that is as bright as that. Fantastic. And I've had a look through the eye loop and it is actually turning, but let me put it back together properly, and then I can make sure that the hands are going all the way round. I think this was just very, very dirty. they appear to be on. Let's hold it down and see if it whizzes all the way around. So there was no hesitation this time. I just want to make sure that the hands are lining up perfectly. I'm going to wait until it gets to 3 o'clock. Actually, I'll do it at 6 o'clock, would make more sense. Just going to let go and do it again. Yeah, that's fine. For me, right, I'm going to change the digital time, leave it, and let's see if the analog's going to keep up with the digital. Right, I'm really happy with that. That looks perfect. So let's leave that now and see what it does. Now let's move on to the next one. Again, this one here, you can see a partial display. Well, there's hardly any off it. Can you see just a few digits here? So again, let's take it apart, clean it all, and see if that fixes it or not. Cleaned it, but you see it hasn't made a difference, but I didn't really do much with the zebra connector, so because it's not working, I've got nothing to lose by trying to clean the zebra connector. It's no different than it was before. Nothing on that one, so I'm going to try and swap it with this one here and see if I can mix and match and get something that's working. Excellent. So I used the display, the little LCD from the other one that I was working on earlier, and now you can see it's working. So obviously this board and this display are happy together. So maybe there's an issue with this board here, but again, I can put that with this one later on and see what happens. The idea is to get the maximum amount that I can working out of this Joblot of 15. So now I'm just going to put this back on and see if the analog part, the motor part's working. This one I'm going to put a black face on because I prefer the look of that rather than the gold face. I have to put the silver hands on it because I don't think the gold will really go. I mean, it might look quite nice with gold. It might look nice with gold hands and actually a gold. I wonder would that look nice? A gold one in black. Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Mix it up a little bit. I was going to use these silver ones, but it means straightening it up, and there's no point in having bent hands if I can, if it might look quite nice with black and gold, because they go well together. Okay, so again, I'm going to set the digital time to match the analog, and we'll see how it performs over the next little while. Is this one here, which is completely dead even though the battery has been replaced. So I'm going to take it apart again, see if I can see anything obvious. Maybe I can, might be dirty contacts, or possibly on this one maybe the crystal's gone faulty, which would be nice to get the soldering iron out. But let's check it out. Now I know it's not going to make a difference to the digital display, but if you have a look, there's definitely resistance on this coil. There you go, 2 kiloohms again, so I'm happy with that. Clean it hasn't made a difference. I'm going to see if this display, this board makes a difference in there, because remember this did display a couple of characters. Right, again it is displaying a couple of characters, so that says to me that maybe the LCD is okay and there's a problem with this board itself. Right, I can't find anything wrong with it. I'm just curious as to why this has no power at all. So I'm just going to trace the power down from where the battery connects just through the board and see if I can kind of work out what's happening. And I'm comparing it to this one here, because this one does work, it's just not displaying properly, while this one here is completely dead. I'm Not sure if it is the crystal or not, because thinking about it, if the crystal was faulty, surely then when you press in, it would still advance the analog time, the analog hands round. Even though they're not going to work, I would have thought that they would have still gone round. I'm wondering, could it be something to do with this capacitor here? Because this is like the first thing from where the battery gets connected. It goes into this capacitor. Maybe I should get the hot air and just swap a few components over, see if I can get it working, because we definitely know that this one here is working. It's just not displaying properly. Haven't really got much to lose. I might give it a go. It's not going to take much heat on here to get the components off at all. Might swap a few things over, see if I can get it working. To begin with, I think I'm going to pop this capacitor off. So I'm just going to use a tiny bit of flux, and we'll see what happens. I'll take the one off the other board as well. I'll do that afterwards. Right, I've got my airflow 4 out of 8, and I've got the temperature at 340 degrees Celsius. Now I'm hoping it's not going to take long to take off because it's a very thin board. There we go. Well, even that there was peeling off that end bit. Right, you can see that's going to cause me problems because that end bit there that's the bit that the buttons hit against. So I'm not sure now whether that's going to be intact or not, because it's definitely burnt around it, but that's still there. Let's take this one off. Right, now let's put that one back on there. That's it. Right, so we'll try that and see if that's made any difference whatsoever. It's just pure guesswork, really. Still nothing there. No, completely dead. So that hasn't made any difference whatsoever. Right, I think I'm going to change the crystal next because that's the next most likely thing. Even though I can't see how it is that, maybe it has to go through the crystal even when advancing the analog times with the straight on the battery. A tiny bit of flux. And I think I'm going to use slightly less heat this time. I'm going to go down to 320. Right, and take off this one here. Okay, so that's been swapped over now, so I'm going to let that cool for a couple of minutes and then we'll try that. Interesting, we've got something, but look, it's only the last few digits, which was the same as the other board. Isn't that weird? Right, let's put that onto the other display. Oh wow, look at that. Hey, what a result, it's working. So a dodgy crystal, look at that. Nice and bright as well. So now, okay, so it looks like this display here is playing up then, because with this one here, it only went on a few digits. So I suppose there's not a lot I can do if the display's playing up. I'm just going to swap it over one more time because it would be nice to get a full house and get kind of everything working if possible. But that is brilliant, that is nice and bright. Well happy with that. Okay, so it's along here, you're not going to see it, well, actually you can see it, there you go, you see all those bits there, they're the bits that it needs to connect to. Can you see, it's like a chessboard, there. So let's get a clean cotton bud, dip it in some IPA, let's rub it up and down here. Right, now I'm going to dry it. Right, there's nothing really more I can do. If that's not going to help it, then I don't know what will. So let's pop this back in. No, exactly the same as it was before. So I'm going to have to give up on this one now because look, you can still see for some reason it's just lighting up in that corner there. For all I know, it might be an actual problem with this, the liquid in this side here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it got whacked or something. I really don't know. I thought that might have worked. I mean, if I can get the others working apart from this one, then that's going to be a pretty good result. We need to put this one back together and see if those buttons at the side still work. Remember, I burnt it ever so slightly. Before I put this together, I'm just going to clean it with IPA because there is a bit of flux on it. So the reason it was completely dead was because of the crystal, which is interesting. There you go, we've got a problem. That bit there is just snapped off, you see. So that top button is not going to work. So I'm going to get super glue it on and see if I can join it up with solder, then it might work. It's just because the board's so thin here, it got burnt very easy. In hindsight, maybe I should have tried to protect it with some Captain tape. A little bit on the back to try and strengthen it up because I've got a feeling this is just going to break straight away when the button's pressed a few times because I don't know what exactly it hits against. So I'm just going to put a dot of flux on here and I'm going to see if I can just add a blob of solder between the broken bit and the board. Yeah, I thought that might happen. The super glue just melted instantly. Right, amazingly, it has actually made a contact. Now, I don't know whether when it goes together it's going to make a contact or not, but although it looks a complete mess, there is continuity between the blob of solder at the ends and the track where it goes to. So now let's put this back together and see if we can change anything on it. Right, excellent, we've still got that. Now let's just see if these buttons are going to work or not. Yes, they do, unbelievable. Right, let's not mess around with it too much, let's put it back together. But yeah, look, it does actually make the contact. Result. Excellent. These watches have dual time as well, so if you have a look, we've got the normal time, and then we've got the day and date, and then we've got an alarm, then we've got dual times. That's handy, so if you go to another country, often you can just maybe change that permanently, for example, an hour or two forward, or whatever country you go to, then a stopwatch, then back to time again. So when I'm pushing the hands on, I have actually got proper pushers, but basically I'm going either side of the axle in the middle and pushing down, so I'm not putting any pressure on, for example, the hour wheel or pivot, whatever it's called, or the minute one. I'm going either side of that, and then I look at the edge here and I make sure they're both nice and straight and they're not fouling against each other. So there's like a nice even gap there between the top and the bottom. Right, let's hold it in and see. Actually, let's short here because it always asks you to. Yeah, back to 12 again. Let's hold that down and see if it's going round. Yeah, there we go. It's lined up pretty well. Wow, okay, I'm well happy with that. So I did really well with those 4 at the ends. It's just basically this one here, which I can't get to work, but there's still going to be little spares in here and stuff. So you can see by swapping around different things, you can end up getting quite a few working. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to put it back together, and yeah, basically the only other decision I've got to make is on a particularly worn one with glass, should I push the glass out and put it into one of these ones where the glass is broken. So I won't worry about that just yet. I'll start putting together the other ones first, and then I can make up my mind about that at the end. So I think I'm just going to show you how I'm going to do one, and then the rest will all be done just off camera. Right, so I'm just using some air just to blow away any dust that's on the inside of that. So now let's place this one into here. Like so. And now let's get ourselves a gasket. Now these only go on one way because this watch is taller than it is wide. Okay, so that doesn't go that way. But it does go that way. And let's pop a cover on, making sure we get it the right way up. That's it. So now, let's just see if the alarm works. Hold on, 1 second. Right, this was the dodgy one, wasn't it? Right, I think I've just broken that bit that I just fixed. Let's have a quick look at it. I'm not going to spend hours on this. Oh no, I didn't. No, it just hasn't been lined up properly, that's all. So now let's hold it down. See if the alarm goes off. There we go. That's it. Stopwatch, stop, and reset. And that works as well. Excellent. Yeah, appears to be working fine. Right, okay, so you can see what I'm going to do as far as putting it together is concerned. Now, one thing I also have to do, and I won't be doing it all on camera, is trying to clean up the scratches. Now you can see this is a really good example because this is scratched so bad it actually looks like a crack. You can see a massive one going right the way down there. So now I'm not sure whether Polywatch will get this out, but let's give it a go. Let's see if we can make it look a little bit better, but you can actually hear it, listen. So that's a really, really bad one. So if that one's going to be fixed, then basically all of the other lighter scratches will be fine. So this is the stuff here, Polywatch. Just put a bit on. I'm just going to keep rubbing it now. I'm going to be careful not to go on a metal though, because I've got a feeling it will strip it back to plastic pretty quick. Okay, it hasn't got rid of it yet. Let's put another load on. I'm going to give it one more lot. It's easing, but it's still there. Basically, the scratch looks like it's going to be probably too thick to actually get rid of completely. But if it looks better, then that's a bonus. Well, that certainly looks much better, but I have actually got a stain on the inside of the glass. So I'm going to pop it open and try to get that bit out. And if you've got any stains on the actual dial themselves, then it's good to use this stuff here. It's amazing, Rodico. It's not very expensive, but if you can imagine, it's kind of like blue tack. And what you do is, you just get yourself a bit, and then you can just do this around the dial, and what it will do is it will pick off the dust and stuff from it. I'm just blowing away the fibres from the inside again. No, I've still got staining in there. I'm going to get myself a microfiber cloth. Oh, I've just noticed why the button was getting stuck. Look, this should have a little circlip round it. Let me zoom right in. Right, have a look on this one here. You can see a tiny little circlip going around. This one has nothing. And that's the reason why it wasn't, I think that's the reason why it got stuck. I think the thing got stuck in there rather than, I suppose, the circlips to stop it coming right the way out. Yeah. Okay, good job I noticed that. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get, for example, one from this one with the missing glass. And I'm going to try and take it off. Right, I'm going to put some Rodico on this because this is just going to go flying across the room. There we go, I got it. So now I've got to try to get that one on here. There we go, it's on. Excellent, now let me give this a good clean. There's actually a tiny little scrape on the inside, so it's going to be a bit hard because if I start using a lot of this on the inside, it will just get into all the grooves and it won't come out again. So I think I'm just going to have to put up with that one. There you go. So you can still see that there is a scratch going down the middle of it here. So hard to see in this light, but there is a scratch. I mean, you can see how much better it is because now it's harder to see. There you go, just down here. But look how much better it looks. So although acrylic is never as nice as like mineral or sapphire, the good thing is when it does get scratched, it scratches very easy, but when it does, it is very easy to clean. So that's that bit there. Now I'm going to get a strap on here. So all we have to do is put one of these pins in here like this, turn it round, locate one side like that. In fact, let me zoom in to show you. Okay, so I've zoomed right in now. So look, I've got the pin in here, like that. And now I'm going to put one side in here, and that will just locate itself nice and easy with my finger this side. Just rest that there, and then get a tiny, let's just use a little screwdriver to show you can do it with a screwdriver, and then get that and push it in, and then get this and watch this, just push it in and in it goes like so. Now sometimes that will go flying across the room, so it can be easier to use a tool like this or a nice little small one like that there. So let me do this side a little bit further away. Again, push that through there. Locate one side. I've got my finger on one side, just locate one side there. It's in the hole, I can feel it's in the hole. And now get this side and try to push it in there until it locks into place. There we go. And now I just need to put on this little bracket. And let's just do it to my wrist. So I think around about there, so let's just flick that in there, and you can see that that just bends into place. Right, let's zoom out. Actually, I need to put it a bit tighter. Need to go tighter again. There we go, that's better. Right, look at that. Quite a nice looking watch. Definitely keeping one of these for myself. Right, so now I have to do exactly the same with every other one. So that will keep me busy for probably about an hour. Okay, and that's a gold one there. Do you know what? The gold one actually comes out really clean with that dial there. Look at it. I'm not saying it looks new, but it doesn't look far off new. Right, so you see me do a silver one and a gold one. So now, the next time you see these, hopefully, they will all be done. So here we have it, at long last cleaned up and finished. So out of the 15 of them, I managed to get 13 fully wearable and working fine. The 14th one does work perfectly, but I need to get a crystal for it. Now, am I going to bother getting a crystal? Not too sure. I'll have a look on eBay and see if I can get them, but not only do I have to measure here and here, I've got to take into account these little corners as well. So to get one to fit exact might be quite hard unless they're very standard off-the-shelf parts. But this one does work absolutely fine. You can hear the alarm and stuff. It's just that obviously you can't wear that because they're just going to get damaged too easy. So every one of them works exactly as it should, and they're all keeping the same time. The analog and digital on each of them is keeping time with each other, so the analog side is not lagging behind it. They all appear to be keeping perfect time. So out of the 15, I only had one that I couldn't actually fix, and that's the beauty about having a job lot off the same item. On this one here, I used various different parts to fix other ones, so it wasn't just a case of, you know, oh, only one was faulty. There wasn't. There was more than one fault, but remember, I took the crystal out of this. I think I took the LCD out of I swapped the LCD on another one or something. Whatever it was, there was various different things, and by salvaging this, that and the other, you end up with one bag of kind of faulty items, but yet then you have a load of working ones, which is really good. So for this video, I thought I'd get my Seiko out here. This is the one from the actual 80s, and if you have a look, it's very similar to the Casio one here. You can see there's not much in it at all. This one has a second hand, this one doesn't. But you can definitely see they're very similar watches, and from a distance you wouldn't really notice much difference at all. This is slightly thinner. But considering it's a modern watch, I think it's a nice looking watch. I think this is from 2015. Some of them might be slightly older because the insides look a little bit different. So for me, that was a kind of dream job lot, because it wasn't just changing batteries in all of them. There was an honest mixture of faults. So two of them seemed to be working. One of them had the glass stopping the analog minute hand from going around. Loads of them needed battery changes. At the end there was 4 that had proper faults, and bit by bit, by changing things over and soldering and doing a bit of simple fault finding, I managed to get 3 working out of that as well. So yeah, really enjoyable to have a nice mix and an absolute bargain. I think to pay £30 for these, that's it's really good. I think that's really good. £30 for 13 working watches, and one that could probably be fixed if you spent another few pound on. I think it's good. I mean, I don't do this for profit, but I'm sure people would be happy to pay £10 for these. If they're your cup of tea, they might not be, but I'm sure £10 would be a fair price for them. So you can see there definitely would be money to be made in it, even though a lot of labour went into it. So for me, I really enjoyed doing this one. I quite like the idea of getting multiple items of the same and then seeing how many can be fixed. It's quite fun. So if you enjoyed this video, I appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more trying to fix videos. Take care. Bye now.